Hi, I'm Mr. Thompson at the Pathways Innovation Center, who's teaching financial literacy, and my students are about to start the H&R Block Budget Challenge. We've had some absent students today, and one of the things as we're setting up our vendor selections for the Budget Challenge that not a lot of students understood was the idea that their first bill can actually cost more than their regular monthly bill is going to be, not only because of installation charges and activation fees, but because of something called proration, which is a partial month billing. And so I couldn't find a single decent video on YouTube or a single decent website that explains prorations to students, so I wanted to help them out a little bit and create a video. So the first concept is, let's say we're going to get a cable bill. And we're going to ignore for a minute that we're probably going to have some installation charges along with that first month's bill. We're just going to look at proration. So let's assume that cable bill with our package and taxes and fees is going to cost us about $100 a month. Okay, and so if you're wanting to calculate a partial month of service, what we're talking about is their bill cycle may be the 18th of the month, or the cycle day, or the billing date that's known as. So if on the 18th of October, I'm going to receive my first bill, that bill will bill me for a month in advance between October 18th and November 18th. Okay, this is going to bill you for a month in advance, and the due date of that bill is typically somewhere in the middle of that billing cycle, depending on the company. But usually we'll just say the due date's going to be November 1st on that bill. The problem is today is September 27th, and I'm getting my cable hooked up today on the 27th of September. So the issue is that I'm going to also not only have that full 30-day month bill, but I'm also going to have this extra period of time between the 27th and the 18th that they're going to need to charge me for service, and we call that a prorate or a partial month billing. And so the way you calculate that is, since there's 30 days in September, you calculate how many days of service that you're talking about first for the prorate. So you would have 17 days before the 18th billing date in October. So you'd have October 1st through the 18th, and this is 17 days, because actually we're going to the 17th, the day before the bill cycle date. Okay, and then we've got a few days at the end of September. September has 30 days, so there's 3 days there. So the total period that we're talking about is really 20 days. Excuse me, so we're going to have a 20-day proration between September 27th and October 18th. Once again, the way I calculated that is I looked at the bill date, and I looked at how many days from the first of the month through the bill date there were, which was 17, okay? And then I looked at the current date, the date that my service is starting, and how many days are left of the month. So between 9/27 and 9/30, there were 3 days. Okay, so now I know that I've got to calculate a 20-day proration, because I took the October 1st through the 17th, 17 days, and the 3 days at the end of September. So now how do you calculate that prorate? Well, I know my regular monthly bill is going to be $100. So if I take that $100 and I divide this $100 by 30 days, okay, now this is going to be a rough estimate. You can get a little more accurate you really have to know how your company's billing you, because some just bill you flat every month based on a 30-day month. Some companies will actually bill you for service based on the number of days in the month. So if you have a 31-day month, you would want to use 31 days. But it's okay to have a rough estimate, especially when you're budgeting. And that's what we're going to do here. This is the simple way, which is just to divide by 30, the regular monthly bill, and you're going to come up with $3.33. This is also known as a per diem. From the Latin, that means per day. Okay, so that's what your cable's costing you every day. And so now that you figured out what the cable costs every day, now you can just multiply that times the number of days for your partial month billing. So I'm going to get out my calculator to do this, my phone. If I do that, let's get here, come on now. Okay, $3.33 a day times 30 days. Okay, that's going to be $9.99. Whoops, is that right? I think I messed something up here. $3.33 a day times, 20 days. So $3.33 times 20 days. Can you see this? Okay, this is the amount I calculated for the days I have to figure the proration times the daily rate. So the per diem times the prorated days. And my total prorate for this one is actually going to be $66.60. Now this may not be exact to the penny, so I wouldn't expect it to be. It's a rough estimate. But for the purposes of budgeting and anticipating that first bill with that prorate, this is a good method. Because at the end of the day, I know I need to save roughly $70. $70 I better set aside in addition to the $100. So when I get my first bill that's going to be due November 1st, I'm going to have to know that that's going to be $100 for the regular bill, plus that 20-day prorate I calculated here of $66.60. So if I budgeted $170, just rounding up, I'd be good on that first bill, and I won't be surprised. Now that's going to happen with your gas bill, your electric bill, your cable bill, pretty much any time that you have a utility or service, where service is going to start and they bill you a month in advance. I think that's everything. I hope I've answered your questions. I hope you now understand why you need to expect that first bill, not including installation charges, not including deposits, to be a bit more. I've seen a lot of young people. I've been teaching for about 8 years. I am a board certified teacher. I've seen a lot of kids go out and get their first apartment and have this really bite them hard because they saved up for a deposit. They knew about that. They knew about the first and last month's rent, but they didn't know about proration. So when they got their first month bills with their roommates and they were all almost double what they were expecting, they didn't have the money to cover it. They ended up getting late fees, falling further behind, having stress with roommates if they had any, and it's just not a pretty picture. So I'd like to prepare you for the real world of adulting, and knowing about prorates, I hope, helps you do that. Thanks a lot. This has been Mr. T, and have a great school year, guys. Good luck in the budget challenge.